that way. But there's also, I put on my metrics glasses, all my analytics glasses for all those nerds out there.
But Thomas Bryant's jockstrap, get him out of here!
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Ramos, get back! They snatched that chain, boy. Get back! What y'all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back! We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. I'm Ryan Tyler. He's Jack O'Rourke. He's Nick Pannone. He's Rob Watson. Welcome into the show, everybody. Guys, the Browns undefeated after 3 weeks in football. Who would have thought I would ever say that statement? But, of course, it's all for nothing. It's just the preseason, fellas. We know last time the Browns went undefeated in the preseason. A long regular season preceded that. I believe that was 2017, Nick. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't win many games that season, did you?
Yeah, reflog, dust off those the parade permits because we might be needing those looking at this offense. I'm just kidding. I think the Browns will win a game this year. It did feel like a weird omen though, going undefeated in this preseason, and it felt like the end of that Rams game on Saturday, Kevin Stefanski was really trying to win that game when he pulled Shedeur Sanders for Tyler Huntley. I know we'll jump into all of that, but yeah, perfect preseason for the Browns.
I liked him at least going for the kick. I feel like they were kind of moving the ball really well. They might have went for the end zone, but I think a kicking battle could have gotten decided if it weren't for a contract on that kick. I don't know. I think that kid definitely earned a spot on the practice squad at the very least, making that game-winning field goal. But Dustin Hopkins' leash is probably really short, bro.
Well, what'd you guys make of, I would have liked to see Dustin Hopkins be the guy that went out there to attempt that kick because I want to see if he could have made it. And I'll take that one step deeper. I thought Shedeur Sanders should have gotten the opportunity to lead the Browns on that 2-minute drive. I get fully that Kevin Stefanski was trying to protect the kid. Some of the discourse that's been online in the last 24 to 48 hours makes absolutely zero sense. I think Kevin was really trying to protect him after he had probably the worst day that a quarterback could possibly have. He was quite literally on his rear end more than he was on his feet, but this season should be all about developing Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and Dillon Gabriel certainly does look ahead of Shedeur in that process, which is cool, but you drafted 2 of them, so you got to see what Shedeur can do, and every time we all said it all preseason long that you put the football in Snoop Huntley's hands, it was a waste of time. He was ultimately able to lead you on that 2-minute game-winning drive, and now he's cut, so we didn't learn anything from that.
I think in a way Hopkins and Shedeur not being out there in those final moments was very similar. I mean, if you're Shedeur and you go out there and then you're in a 2-minute drill and you still can't get the ball out and you're stepping back in the pocket, like I think that could get to a point where it gets even uglier than the 5 sacks you already took. If you're Dustin Hopkins and you send him out there and he misses that game-winning field goal, I think you literally almost just can't put him on the roster at that point. I think like Kevin almost didn't put him out there to ensure he's here week 1.
Well, wouldn't you rather know that now in week 3 of the
I don't think they would because they don't want to admit that they're wrong about the contract extension that they handed out to a kicker after he pulled his hamstring.
The financial implications of cutting him, but you let the other kid
I don't get that though, dude, because why do financial implications matter when Deshaun Watson's due for $1 billion the next 2 seasons?
I just think he might get cut still. I think it was the right move to give the rookie the chance to make the kick because that proves that he could still be there. If Dustin Hopkins goes out and makes that 1 field goal and then goes back to sucking in the regular season, then we shouldn't have got rid of the kid in the first place. So the pressure's going to stay on and we're going to get to make that decision. But I don't think we would have got a field goal in the first place if we left Shedeur in the way he was playing. So I think it was the right decision to take him out. I'm assuming we're going to talk more about his play, but a lot of the sacks kind of on him, not even really kind of, just on him. So a lot of stuff he's got to learn if he's going to be a guy that could play in an actual game this year.
His awareness in Madden might have taken a couple of hits on that preseason game.
Well, we have a ton to break down from the Browns preseason finale. We'll talk about Shedeur Sanders, of course, Dillon Gabriel, and Joe Flacco. Oh, right, the guy who's starting week 1 for the Browns looked pretty good in the preseason finale. We'll talk about that and a lot more when we get back right here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back into the Big Factor and the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. Before we dive back into football, break down the Browns preseason finale, got to tell you about our friends at Fairway Ford. Fairway Ford, Ohio is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the entire state of Ohio. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and they won't be beat on price by any other Ford dealer. You see right above me, Fairway Ford summer sale is still going on. There's never been a better time to make that short drive to Canfield. Save thousands of dollars while you peruse over 500 vehicles in stock on their lot. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, the lowest pricing and same hometown level of service. Scan that QR code now or go give their website a visit, fairwayfordohio.com. One more time, that's fairwayfordohio.com. Guys, we have a ton to break down from this Browns preseason finale. Joe Flacco started the game for the Cleveland Browns, 9 for 10, 1 touchdown. Then it was Dillon Gabriel time, the rookie out of Oregon, 12 for 19, 129 yards, 1 touchdown, led the 2-minute drive. I believe it was really a 1-minute, 30-second drive to end the first half. A damn good drive. A couple of misses from him on there, but overall very accurate, very decisive, and the Browns ended up scoring a touchdown out of it. Probably Dillon Gabriel's best drive in a Cleveland Browns uniform to this date.
I want to say first, Joe Flacco and that starting offense gave you a little bit of a reason to be optimistic. And obviously, it's preseason game number 3. So here's the thing with this entire game, right?
LA's fours or whoever was out there.
And we're right, because we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about Shedeur and his day. Like, there is nothing really that you can take away from that preseason finale for the Browns. The Rams brought 48 players. That means the majority of their team was in LA. 48 guys. They were quarterbacked by Dresser Wynn, who has since been released. I didn't even know who Dresser Wynn was prior to that game. So there's not a ton that you could take away. But if you're like me and you're looking for a reason to be optimistic about this team, running back room is going to be one of the worst in the league. That's been well documented. Until they could get the Quinshon Judkins thing sorted, you're probably going to have a tough time toting the rock. But didn't Joe Flacco, the old man, show you some flashes of 2023 when he was able to look off that safety, fire a seam? The ball comes out of his hands so effortlessly to Harold Fannin Jr. in the end zone, wide open. And it feels like, man, if he could just do that, couple drives early in the game against the Cincinnati Bengals week 1, we could replicate a little Flacco fever here early in the year.
I actually have faith in the run game, low key. I don't think Sampson looked bad at all.
No, he had a nice catch.
I thought Ford was, Ford is Ford, but he ripped off a solid run. It's not going to, blow your mind away, but it could be respectful if the line is healthy. Poach just went out, on the first drive. That was interesting, but he was walking. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Njoku, Fannin, him. Any tight end with Joe Flacco, it's going to look good. Fannin looked very flexible. We can put him however we want to line him up, create matchup issues. Still got to work on the timing with Jerry Jeudy. I don't think they're all the way on like Amari Cooper and him were, but definitely looking competent on offense as far as when he's out there.
It was definitely encouraging. We talk all the time about Kevin Stefanski wanting to go back to heavy sets, 12 personnel. Harold Fannin seems to fit the mold. He looks very athletic.
Huntington apparently too.
Aiden Huntington.
Yeah, he's a dog. Next Myles Garrett.
Making the 53-man roster. That's exciting news. But let's flip it over to Dillon Gabriel again. A lot of people, and we'll get to Shedeur Sanders, the discourse is Kevin Stefanski purposely sabotaging Shedeur Sanders. No, I think it's absolutely ludicrous, but we have to talk about it. Why? Because people are talking about it.
Real.
But Dillon Gabriel, we got to give credit to, because I thought he looked decisive, as I said. He was putting the ball where it needed to be. And a lot of people are talking, well, what's Dillon Gabriel's ceiling? Is it an NFL backup long-term quarterback? It could be. Could it be more? Possibly. But I thought for what we got out of a third-round rookie, and it's just the preseason, and you're playing against practice squad Rams, pretty damn good, and he's been doing everything that the Browns are asking him to. And you can see why Kevin Stefanski is a big fan of Dillon Gabriel.
Well, he had to do this, right? It almost felt like there was so much pressure on Dillon Gabriel. He had such a bad camp, such a bad camp. So the fact that he was able to perform better in real game action, in a live game setting, than he did at camp, that needed to happen, because they invested a 3rd-round pick in him. And imagine if your 3rd-round pick and your 5th-round pick looked bad. Shedeur looked bad. There's no two ways about that. And whether he was set up to look bad or whatever. Like, park that for a moment. He looked bad. So the fact that Dylan Gabriel was at least able to salvage the rookie quarterback class was a good thing, a needed thing, both for the Browns and for Dylan Gabriel personally, because he has had such a bad camp that he needed these 2 games to actually go out there and play well in very small sample sizes against backup defenses. That's the other piece of this, is there's not much that we could learn from this performance out of Dylan Gabriel either, because those Rams players already got released that were in Cleveland. So not a ton to take away from that. I think you're ultimately still hoping that Joe Flacco can stay upright for as long as humanly possible going into this season. But Dylan Gabriel did show everybody why this regime really liked him, and I thought really that it was one of the things that we needed to see the most, because everybody, locally and nationally, had skepticism about that pick.
Nick, I think he was accurate and got the ball out fast, which immediately puts him above 80% of Browns quarterbacks that we've seen in our lifetime just off rip. But I think the biggest thing too is that I don't know. I think you see the amount of guys that were going in motion, when Dylan Gabriel was out there versus Shedeur Sanders. I don't think you really saw any movement at the line when Shedeur was out there. Clearly he's a little bit behind in terms of what Kevin and them are looking for out of the offense. But I don't know. I think when you get him out in space, you can roll him out and get him into positions that advantage him better. And I think Kevin's one of the best in the NFL at doing that. So I think it'll be fun to see what he can do with him. He's made to work with a ton of guys.
I think Kevin called it how he normally would. By the end of the games, I feel like we never see that elaborate. Anytime I say great play call or crazy play design from Kevin is in the first half. By the end of the game,
Usually
we're in the simple, we're in the spread or the 5 wide, or we're running the ball and we're running very normal plays. And we'll get to the fact that people were open on those plays later. Dylan looked good, comfortable in the pocket. I've seen consistency from him outside of that one horrendous throw in Philly. He's looked about the same in 2 games.
And that's a rookie thing to do.
Yeah, so that's going to happen. And I mean, it's just the fact that he's comfortable stepping up and into pressure despite how short he is that I'm impressed with right now.
Yes.
And that's what's making him a clear, better quarterback, because you're not going to do your tackles any help or any favors if you can't step up in the pocket. Now, he's limited, and when he misses, it's probably going to be high because he's got to throw over people. And will that lead to some interceptions that'll probably make us want to tear our hair out at some point?
And some injuries, bro. The receivers
almost got Larvin killed.
Yeah.
He broke his back. It was
Hospital pass.
Hospital ball. But when it's not high, it's usually right on the money or it's all the way out of bounds. So I could take those 2 things. Ceiling, no clue. I don't want to just start comparing him to people. I don't know. If you get him in the right situation, I'm sure he could probably start for a season maybe at some point. Russell Wilson was MVP one year, and then he went to being trashed. It's all about situations. So it is what it is, man. You look good.
I'm excited. Rob, you mentioned climbing the ladder in the pocket, and that's a huge thing, and that's impressive for a guy who's below 6 feet, and that's kind of the difference in what you saw out of Dylan Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders. I hate to make this comparison, and I'm not saying that he's going to be like Deshaun Watson, but you saw a lot of the habits that we were accustomed to watching Deshaun Watson, is scrambling out of clean pockets, trying to evade phantom pressure rather than stepping up and delivering a dart. And at that point, are you good enough to improvise? There's only a few quarterbacks in the NFL that can make something out of nothing. Your Lamar Jacksons, your Josh Allens. For a lot of people, they're just not, honestly, they don't have that God-given talent where they can just scramble, outrun a defensive end, and throw across their body and make something. How many times have we seen Patrick Mahomes do that? How many times have we seen Lamar Jackson do it?
Because they don't have to do it every play.
That's
Regardless of how athletic they are, they still know how to play within the offense. To be a great quarterback to then play make, you got to be able to do the easy stuff before you can do the hard stuff.
And I think why we're seeing Dylan Gabriel above Shedeur Sanders on the depth chart is pretty clear. It's the fact that they viewed Dylan Gabriel as he came into camp. He had more knowledge of, playbooks. He had more knowledge of identifying defenses, and that comes along with the lines of playing 4 or 5 seasons in college. And it's understandable. And I think a lot of people were yelling at the Browns, not necessarily us, but I think out of the preseason, we kind of see why Dylan Gabriel is number 3 on the depth chart.
I was going to ask you about that, Ryan. We've talked about this at length on the show before, but after 2 full preseason games now of seeing Dylan Gabriel, have you guys seen enough out of Dylan Gabriel that it would warrant just get Kenny Pickett out of here? Whenever it's time for that second QB to make his first start of the season, are you ready to just go DG now?
I'm going to say. You shouldn't even ask me. You should ask Ryan. Ryan, that's all you, bro.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, are we closing Kennywood? Are we closing Kennywood?
This is
Hold on.
first of all.
Nick's gonna keep the lights on.
I'm not closing Kennywood. I don't think the Browns certainly aren't closing Kennywood. But my point was Kenny Pickett to be the starter? If Joe Flacco, now that he's officially named the starter, well, my stance on it switches. It's the fact that, well, your season is already in the midst of it. Let's say you're 4 or 5 games, hopefully way more than that before you feel the need to make a quarterback switch. Then what's the point in Kenny Pickett? Mine was to see what you have him to start, and if it's something, you could trade him or throw in one of these rookies.
Maybe for like a 6. Raiders are calling.
Yeah, the Raiders may be something to watch. My thing is, like, I don't think anybody's going to trade anything of substance or value. Like, we continue to talk about come draft time that Andrew Berry does not care about 6th or 7th round picks. So, like, we saw Jawan Briggs get traded and people were, like, doing the laser. Like, that doesn't really matter that much because the guy doesn't care about 6th or 7th round picks. And then not to mention, the Browns haven't had a QB since Bernie Kosar. So I don't know that they're going to be in the market to just throw out veteran first-round pick quarterbacks just because they've got a couple of rookies. I really believe that they're going to keep all 4. Now, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I don't think that really makes much sense at all, in fact, because people say all the time it's a copycat league. Like, you do what other teams do, and that's how the league continues to move forward. Not us. We always try to be the people that buck the trend for whatever reason, and it seems like we are going to carry all 4 of these dudes for as long as humanly possible. And when Deshaun gets cleared, I don't know what's going to happen.
Nick, it's August 25th right now, year of our Lord 2025. Predict the Cleveland Browns. Give me how many games you think each guy plays.
I don't know. I don't even want to do that.
No?
Like, my frustration.
Now we got a full
My
staff.
frustration with this whole thing comes from the fact that, like, Kevin Stefanski was hired in January of 2020. We are entering August of 2025. If you would have told somebody in January 2020 that Joe Flacco was your starting quarterback and we're debating whether or not Kenny Pickett should be his backup, you would say that this was a
die?
You would have said that
Yeah, what
this is
happened?
a colossal failure, and Kevin Stefanski has probably been replaced by 2 different head coaches.
Also,
by
Deshaun
now.
Watson is on your team, by the way, as well.
So this is all, buckle up, folks, because this is going to be a craptastic season of Browns.
All right, let's take another break, guys. When we get back, we do have to talk about Shedeur Sanders. He's number 4 on the Browns depth chart. I think a lock to make the team. Don't have to worry about that, but we'll talk about that and more when we get back right here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back into The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Rob Watson, and Nick Padone had to go to the locker room for a little tape. All right, guys, we got to go back to the Cleveland Browns, but before we do that, got to tell you about our friends over at Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in just 2 flavors, Classic Light Lager as well as that Classic Lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. It's just beer-flavored beer, the way you want beer to taste. Again, beer-flavored beer. Scan the QR code or give their website a visit, drinkgaragebeer.com, to find local retailers who sell Garage Beer near you. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. Again, just beer-flavored beer. Visit their website, drinkgaragebeer.com, to once again find local retailers who sell Garage Beer near you. All right, guys, we got to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Yesterday, I should say, on Saturday, the Browns preseason finale. Shedeur Sanders goes 3 for 6. I believe sacked 5 times.
Yeah.
We have to talk about it because a lot of people on the internet are going crazy. They're talking about conspiracies. The Browns are sabotaging Shedeur Sanders, and this isn't just Shedeur Sanders stands. There's national media talking heads that believe the Cleveland Browns are truly sabotaging Shedeur Sanders, 4th on the depth chart heading into the season. Not sure when we're going to see him play football again for our Cleveland Browns. Possibly not till late in the season, maybe even that regular season finale against the Cincinnati Bengals based on how the season goes. But your guys' takes on just in general Shedeur Sanders being quote-unquote sabotaged by our Cleveland Browns.
I mean, Rob, you had Nikes on the concrete down at the stadium on Saturday, so I want to get your thought. Was there any like whispers in the stadium even? What was going on with the Shedeur thing?
I mean, there were at first. Like when you're watching the game, it's a whole different thing. Like emotions involved. You see number 31 and 38 out there at receiver, and you see him scrambling around. As soon as the ball snapped, you're like, oh well, this isn't gonna work out for him. I actually left after I think the 5th sack. I think I headed out. Whatever it was I missed. I wasn't in there for the Huntley drive. I had left, but. There's no real sabotage, and I'm a fan of any black quarterback in the NFL, but what I'm not gonna do is be dishonest about the situation. Like, I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. I'm as critical as any one of them when it comes to the playoff failures. We got to do the same thing with Shedeur Sanders. The pocket presence is causing him to get sacked. He's skittish in the pocket. The processing is a little slow. He doesn't seem to be ready on his first reads to make the throws at the breaks. And then when the corners are going to break on the ball, once they see you looking at the receiver, now no one's open, and now it's kind of just a breakdown play. The footwork might not be where it needs to be to actually get the ball out when you need to at the top of your drops. It's not looking good, and you go back and you look at the footage, and Kevin Stefanski is calling up great plays. There's people breaking open if Shedeur's doing everything he needs to do. And granted, that I'm not saying that everyone is – oh, the receivers, like, he sold. Like, there was a lot of bad play out there, but what we were expecting from him was for him to rise above that play, but really he was equaling what was out there. And what was out there was a bunch of 4th-string football players. And that's the sad fact of the matter right now, is that he's got a lot to improve on. It's all teachable stuff, because he's got some stuff that Dylan can't do that won't be able to be taught to him. But until he's doing the easy, simple stuff, it won't matter.
Yeah, I think absolutely. And Rob, I don't know. It's on one hand, did 4 of the offensive linemen in front of him on Saturday end up not on the roster by Monday? Yeah, of course, but also there is some concern. I know this is an original opinion. I'm sure you've seen it on the internet a billion times by now, but yeah, like there's a little bit of college football road to glory with Shedeur Sanders' play style of quarterback. You got to move that left joystick back a couple of steps.
7 yards in the pocket, bro.
Yeah, no, and then you make a 25-yard throw 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. I mean, that happens sometimes, but dude, I'm just concerned about the Browns as a whole, Ryan. Not to knock it off of Shedeur or move topics too quick on you here, but I had to ask you guys about this. Last week on the show, I brought up Austin Mock's win projections from The Athletic for every team in the NFL. We went through them team by team in the AFC, I believe. The Browns were at 5.7 wins, Ryan, right? So all 32 NFL beat writers voted on what the win totals were, like if they were too high, too low. There were only 2 teams in the NFL out of all 32 that everyone decided that, no, it's too high. That is too high of a win total for what this football team can do. The first one was, Ryan, you called this out on the show, actually, live when it happened. New England Patriots at 9 wins. They were the writers, the consensus, that is too high. The Cleveland Football Browns at 5 wins. The consensus was too high, guys. That scares me a little bit. If there's that many people out there saying, no, this team can't win 5 games.
I mean, is that surprising? No, not in the least. Again, the media, for one, it's Joe Flacco. We kind of have a rose-colored view when it comes to Joe Flacco because we were present in the time when he came in 2023 and made our season into something when we thought it was going to crumble after the Deshaun Watson out for the year game from the Baltimore Ravens. And then it comes. They realize that Quinshon Judkins is still not signed with this team. They see injuries, Martin Emerson Jr. being out for the year. It's not a great start for the Cleveland Browns. Everything is kind of going against them. But, you know, that's oftentimes when the Browns surprise people. And my whole view on this season is a little bit of faith based on the fact that you're just they're attempting to shift back to what we've seen success. Now, do they have the quarterback that's able to do that? And say what you will about Baker. You went to the playoffs with him. You won a playoff game. I think Joe Flacco can be that still at the age of 40. If anything, we've seen him look good in camp in the preseason, and I know you can't really take that into the regular season. It's a whole different animal. But I feel confident. I still have faith in Kevin Stefanski. I think his offense can work. And Joe Flacco right now, from what I've been able to see, can still throw a damn good football and hit people when they're open. And I think Kevin Stefanski can do a good enough job to scheme. And if you can get anything from the run game and the defense still looks good, if they return to anything like they were in 2023, now I'm not expecting that to be as dominant as a case, but if they can be a little more consistent than they were last year, then I think you really do have a shot to win 5, 6, 7 games. And I really don't think that looking back at the end of the year when we're wrapping up the season in Cincinnati that we're going to look back and think this season was a failure.
All right, so let me ask both of you guys together. What is your absolute ceiling for this Browns team in terms of wins? Like the top number you could go without feeling like you would get laughed out of a room.
7 or 8.
Ceiling, I would say, is
if everything goes right. Like, is there any world this team could win 9 games, Ryan?
Maybe 9. Maybe.
I mean, I would say no, but I would say
Okay.
I'd say 7, 8's a good ceiling. And again, based on everything you're heading into the season without your franchise quarterback starting, you don't even know if your franchise quarterback's on the roster. They'll get mad because they don't make the playoffs, but nobody's expecting the playoffs.
I just expect the team to be better than last year. It's this simple, bro. We won 3 games last year. Can we be 2 to 3 games different to reach that 5.7? We won 2 games against 2 playoff teams when we finally had a competent quarterback on the field. It was that simple. And even him, he had his flaws. Trust. And I mean, Joe Flacco has his too. But the defense, it's improved. The pass rush will be better. The pass rush is just going to be better because they won't be as gassed because they're going to actually get breaks. They're not going to be on the field the entire game. The offense, we've added some pieces. Fannin, nice player. We got some playmakers in the backfield. On catches, maybe not running the ball. You still got Judy out there. It's an improved team, and they're going back to what they're good at. They're not running this mismatch offense. So I think that's worth 2 to 3 wins personally. I think that's what it is, honestly. And the media could say whatever they want. I mean, the last time the media said we were going to be mid, we made the playoffs. So that's usually how it goes in Cleveland.
All right, let's take another break. We're done talking Browns today. When we get back, Larry Nance Jr. joins the show, making his return to his hometown, playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers for the second time in his career. Can't wait to hear what he has to say. We'll be back right here on The Big Factor.
Welcome on in, everybody, to a very special interview here on The Big Factor. We're bringing in our guy, Cleveland's own Larry Nance Jr. Larry, thank you so much for joining us on the program. How's the offseason been for you, man? And welcome back home.
No, of course, guys. I appreciate you having me on. The offseason been good. Obviously, it's nice. It's nice not to have to, travel too far to get where I play. So I'm happy to be back home. And again, it's the team looks a little different than when I left it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, you have to be. But before we get into basketball too much, Larry, one of the reasons we got you on today is Athletes versus Crohn's, your foundation. I also have Crohn's disease. I remember being a kid playing 2K in the hospital. That sounded. I was getting medicine. Nothing too bad was going on there. My bad. But getting my medicine, I would load up 2K that you guys donated. Can you talk a bit about Athletes versus Crohn's and just what that means to you and kind of like how you got it started?
Yeah, man. So about 16, 17 years ago, I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease while I was in high school. It had done everything from stunted my growth. I wasn't gaining weight, had no energy to play sports, was about to quit basketball, had really just depleted me, just, as you know. When I fortunately enough, I got diagnosed and happened to live close enough to the Cleveland Clinic to where it didn't matter that much. It was great to be close to the clinic where, I got good treatment for it. And, I did the same thing actually when I was playing. When I got diagnosed, I went and Googled like, hey, are there any athletes that this is what I want to do? Is it still possible with this disease? And the name David Garrard came up, who was the quarterback for the Jaguars, and from that point on, he became my North Star. That dude motivated me more than he'll ever know. And I'd always said to myself, look, if I ever get a chance to play professionally or be an athlete or be someone of stature, I'd like to be that for the next kid or, whoever else is looking for somebody to lean on or a bit of inspiration. So we started ABC, Athletes vs. Crohn's, my second year in the NBA with a kid that kid that had just sent me a direct message about being an inspiration to him. And him, my family, and his family got together and just kind of started trying to make some of the change we wanted to see in our community, and that being the Crohn's community, IBD community. It's led to over 7 figures raised, just about 40 scholarships given out to kids in Cleveland, kids in New York, all that suffer with Crohn's and IBD. We're doing some good work and we're going strong. I appreciate you asking.
So it's so crazy to me because I play pickup for 5 minutes and I'm out for a week. You know, that's where I'm at with Crohn's right now. Can you talk a bit about what Crohn's disease actually is for fans who might not know? And because I think once people hear what you're going through at these points throughout a grueling NBA season, it's ridiculous, man.
So Crohn's is an autoimmune disorder where basically the inflammation in your entire GI tract is out of whack for layman's terms, I would say. A lot of foods we can't eat, nuts, seeds, raw vegetables for me, spicy food, any real fast food. It's got to be as clean as a diet as it gets, especially for an athlete. But, Crohn's is one that affects the entire, like I said, the entire GI tract. So when you eat your food to where it comes out at, you can be inflamed, irritated, cause a lot of problems that aren't pretty to talk about. But it is daunting, especially as an athlete myself. It requires a super clean diet. It requires constant paying constant attention to. And the UPS guy just delivered my that infusion that you went in for, Remicade.
I get Remicade.
Yeah, delivered at my house. So
they do. Oh, so do they like hook you up at home?
Yep. Yeah, I'll have a nurse come to my house and administer it there. It's 2.5, 3 hours, and I'll be good to go. That's nuts.
Paycheck.
Yeah.
I'm on Humira now, so I get it's like an EpiPen in the leg every 2 weeks, kinda.
Oh, that is one thing that I have considered when I'm done is, obviously the adverse effects and whatnot of these long-term drugs, but switching over to Humira whenever I'm done playing is something that I've heavily considered.
Yeah, no, I would recommend it. I think it's the way to go if you end up needing something, but no, dude, it's ridiculous. So, so much just credit to you in the first place there's days where I sleep for 10 hours, wake up and I'm gassed. So it's ridiculous that you're doing that, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Larry, it's great to have you back in Cleveland. One of my favorite players back in one of your first stints with the Cavs, man. You've changed. A lot has changed about the team, and you've also changed a little bit in your game, since the last time you've been here. What are some things you're looking to bring to our big man rotation this year? You've been an improved shooter since you were last year. You've just all around been working, more of a Grizzly vet now and more than instead of a young guy when you were first here before. So what are you looking to bring to the team?
Yeah, honestly, some of the biggest things I'm going to be looking to bring, obviously, shooting has been something that I've, really been working on over the past few years, and the percentages look great. So I'm going to keep letting that fly. And I know Kenny and his staff are excited about kind of exploring having a big that can, take some of the spacing issues away from, Darius and Donovan. Like if you've got to switch, if I set a screen and you got to switch your guard onto me, there's not a snowball's chance in hell you staying in front of that big is staying in front of DG and Don. So present some different matchup issues and as well as defensive versatility. Obviously Evan is defensive player of the year. Jarrett's incredible as well, but I think I can help add to the defensive front court as well. I just think it fits like a glove, really. I know a lot of these guys, and it'll be a pretty easy social fit also.
So speaking of that aspect of it, you're obviously big in the soccer world, and welcome on into the media world too with the new podcast with the Men in Blazers guys. We could clap that
clap
up
it in a little bit, guys. How about that? Caruso already?
Do you think any of the Cleveland teammates here are into soccer?
So I actually haven't had that conversation with them yet. Obviously, in the summertime, it's a lot of the young guys here, and I've been getting on Luke Travers about wearing Manchester United, Arsenal, wearing a Real Madrid kit. He's wearing all of them. So a bunch of these guys, now don't know much about it, but from what I understand, there's a few guys coming back that will be having a few opinions. So you might see a Cav pop up on the podcast, hopefully.
Wait, he's repping all 3 teams? How is he how is he going? Does he not support one? Is he fair weather? He's like a Cowboys fan? What's going on?
Nah, man. So like it literally Wednesday this week, he walks in with an Arsenal kit on. So I'm like, oh, you're a Gunner fan. Like, oh, we play you this weekend. I'm Leeds. He's like, oh no, I actually like Manchester United. I just think the kit's dope.
Oh, I'm not a huge soccer guy. Is that like being a Red Sox fan wearing a Yankees hat?
We're in Manchester United. Well, they've had a pretty down. They were really down last year. It was bad, but we're in Manchester United. Yeah, that's like a Cowboys, a Yankees. It's up there, bro. That's like
it's not like American sports where like I'll wear a Atlanta A hat and it's just kind of like the hat's dope.
Yeah.
No, over there you don't wear other teams nothing. It's tribalism over there.
So a little bit off soccer. I'm sure we'll hop back into it for a second, but we had a theoretical debate about you while we were waiting for you to join before the show started. If you played Division III basketball, we'll put you on John Carroll if you're familiar with the streaks out there on the east side. What do you think your stat line looks like? Like your season averages?
You have to understand. Like the last thing I want to do is ever disrespect anybody playing at any level of, like, but you just have to understand, like, basketball is a game that everybody genuinely, like, generally every sport likes to play. Football players play basketball, baseball players play basketball. Like, it's a popular rec sport. And again, not to toot my horn, but it's like I've been one of the
best on the planet.
You can say it. You can say it.
1% of the 1%
for the last decade. So like, I'm not sure I'm going to give you a stat line, but like I think if you took any NBA player and put them at John Carroll, they probably go undefeated, and there's nothing you could do.
Yep, Larry, completely agree. As a proud D3 player and graduate myself, listen, I was saying if we put Larry out there,
that's my power forward.
It's gonna get spooky. He's gonna have the best handle, the best footwork, the best shot. It just wouldn't be fair, and it is what it is. And I could be humble and understand that, but we were also talking about that because I went to Nordonia High School, and around the time I was a sophomore, I got to see your brother Pete play. We went to Revere. And let me tell you, it was not looking good for us at all. I think he might have had 30 to 40 points. And it was a lot. But can you talk about some of your time at Revere, perhaps, or just any high school ball and what that meant, and then seeing your brother get to play and him come through as well?
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, Revere isn't a powerhouse, right? Like, it's just suburban high school. We played in the suburban league, actually, is what it's called, and it's just very like, I think maybe me and Pete have been the only Division I players to come out of there, and maybe ever. So it's not the greatest league, but every year we breeze through conference, breeze through regular out of conference, and then you run into one of the two saints, V, Eds, sometimes Ignatius, and then that's when you play some real hoopers, which was always fun. But Pete was the best. Pete, I stand by the fact that Pete is the best of us. My sister played Division I as well at Dayton, and Pete is by far the most skilled of us. His shot's the best. His handle's the best. I just happened to. The opportunity happened to open up for me right away. But I stand by the fact that Pete's the best of us. He's on a two-way in Milwaukee, so you guys got to watch out for him this year.
Will do.
Absolutely love that. Larry, does the fact that you get to be back here and back home now make all of the charity stuff and the foundation stuff that you guys do just feel that much more impactful, that it gets to happen right in your backyard? You played in Revere, which is not too far from where you're playing in the NBA. Does that make all the off-the-court stuff that much more special?
No, it absolutely does. And that's not to say anything negative about, the places I've been before, because I was active in New Orleans and Atlanta, and
for sure.
But it does mean more when you can affect the lives of the people that you grew up around, and the community that you're currently in. And I'm going to retire here, so this is the community that I'm going to spend the rest of my life in. So, it does.
There we go. Clapping it, baby. Ball up top.
It does mean a little bit more, and that was one of the major reasons I wanted to come home, is just getting back involved in this community that I truly adore. It's going to be fun this year.
So, Larry, wanted to ask you, there's rumors, I don't believe it's confirmed yet, that the Cavs are possibly going to bring back the navy blue alternate jersey from when LeBron was here, from when we were younger. How tough would it be if you got to wear those?
That was my favorite jersey growing up. I think it was a lot of people's, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Ball knower.
Growing up as Cavs fans, there are certain jerseys that just come with good memories, and for me, my first stint here, I got to wear the old black, orange, and black, orange, and blue. Those ones for me. And these the blue ones that you're referring to, they I hope so. I really do.
I hate that I have to ask another kind of goofy question. So I know
No,
you
you
probably
don't.
answered this one 1,000 times, but I would feel so remiss if I didn't ask you while I could. The infamous Patrick the Star meme, the Bleacher Report. What's the reaction? You get this. It was a great dunk. I remember watching the game live. Put him in the basket, put him in the rim. Kind of what you're known for. And you're looking to see your highlight after the game, and everyone's like, "This Patrick the Star thing is a meme," and it even follows you when we signed you. I saw people dropping the screenshots. So walk me through that, please.
Nah, man, that's exactly what it was. I have no idea where it came from. It's not like I'm a massive SpongeBob or Patrick fan. It was just I dunked the hell out of that man. And I was really excited to see it. And when I got back in the locker room, the only thing I saw was me leading down the court. I don't know. It's a dope video because it's so popular, but the amount of times I get hey, what, hey Patrick, or any of that stuff, it lives on in infamy. But it was a dope dunk.
Dude, we gotta find out who was running.
Yeah, who
that
made that?
social
How did it
media.
even happen in the
made
first
that?
place?
Yeah, what were they thinking when they decided that was the way to do it? We've got to set a meeting up.
We gotta get
No, I do need to meet that person, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to thank them or not. But it's definitely lived on. That's for sure.
So real quick, with all of our guests, we'd like to do a quick little minute where I just run off some fast topics, either about Cleveland or in general. What's going on in your life? Are you okay to play?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it. All right, ready? Starting off, best pizza place in Cleveland.
Il Rione.
Oh, ball knower.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
1 for 1.
Have you guys had Country Made?
Yep, 2 for 2.
Okay, I can't attest to that one personally.
I don't know what that
But Nick's got you. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Date night spot in Cleveland.
I just recently took my wife to Cordelia, so that's probably.
I've heard great reviews. Balls back. Okay. Hitting you now with favorite artist right now.
Ooh. I've been big into Afrobeat, so I gotta say Fireboy DML has been my favorite.
And what would be, if opening night was tomorrow, what's your walkout song? What's going in the headphones though as you go out?
Man, I'm not music doesn't get me amped up too much. I'm a calm, probably something J. Cole, maybe
We had a little crooked smile on the way to record this, right, Nick?
I
Yeah.
was thinking more Chaining Day, something like that.
Oh yeah.
Can I have one in?
Yeah, go for it.
Here we go. Favorite soccer player, favorite footballer.
Oh, ever Samuel Eto'o.
And currently, Eto'o, great pick.
Currently is Al Tanaka. Obviously Leeds United. He won Player of the Season for the championship last year.
Favorite team in FIFA?
Leeds.
Let's see.
Come on, man.
He's not a bad team. I'm a Dortmund supporter. I cannot get behind any other team than the Yellow Wall. But it's interesting. I do. I just got into it this year.
Respect. I like that.
See,
that's outside the norm.
Not a Madrid guy. I'm not gonna go something basic. You gotta pick a fun team because it's not gonna mean something when your guys get that last second goal. It's not gonna mean anything. See,
it's different.
I agree.
I love Larry.
Madrid fans are the Cowboys and Yankees, and that's those fans.
All combined. It's the worst, the absolute worst.
All right, Larry, last question I have for you personally here. So you went to Wyoming, as did my favorite quarterback, Josh Allen. If you guys, apparently I love asking going back to college questions. So if you went back to Wyoming right now, 17 plays quarterback, you're out there at tight end, can you put up 1,000 receiving yards in a season?
You know what's funny? You asking me about this, I have an irrational take. I have an irrational take about that. I think there's about 150 plus NBA players that might be the best tight end we've ever seen ever.
This is not irrational. I agree with him, man.
Like LeBron, if he was a tight end. Yeah.
I mean, that's been the debate forever.
When this was trending on Twitter, when Austin said that, there are 100%. There are more basketball players that could jump over because it's the base athleticism. Granted, it's going to be physical, but they will adjust. These are top flight athletes. The one of the one of the one. The football players are going to come over, and if any of them have to play guard, they're not going to be able to get up the court. They're going to be dribbling off their legs, like the shots. They're going to be playing 5 feet off. I'm not going to call it too irrational. We throw a 6'9" guy out there with a 30-inch vertical, and who could also maybe run like a 4.5, 4.4. He's going to be a monster. It is what it is.
So theoretically, let's say the Browns get off to a rough start here, which is possible with the schedule, like a 1-5. Cavs come out, we hit another hot start. Can we do like a little loan maybe, like in soccer? See if you come play you and Njoku for a couple of weeks?
Man, my bones break playing basketball. Football, no shot.
You are not getting Larry.
No chance. No chance. But no, the one thing I have been wondering, like, who's the first team that's gonna have one of us on special, like, for red zone? They're on roster for red zone.
Goal line.
Like, you mean
it'll be the Browns.
What are you gonna do when Dwight Howard lines up?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Larry, do you
fade?
Do you have anybody in mind that could do it? Like that you think that like today would be able to go out there and do it?
Bam. I think Bam would be the best tight end we've ever seen.
Unstoppable. Put him out.
That is true.
You could pick a bunch of the like.
All right, so if you went real quick,
linebacker is.
So if you went, we'll say Ohio State for the Cleveland connection, right? Take the Cavs roster right now. How many guys, if you put them at receiver / tight end, or maybe even running back, can they get 1,000 yards in a season?
Oh man,
like Mobley in the red zone.
Yeah,
Mobley in the that's free. Yeah, just go ahead.
Again, irrational. I think most of us. I really do. Irrational, but who's gonna guard Jarrett or Evan?
It's confidence, man. It's how they got to.
I don't know. Maybe 1,000 yards. I'm not sure, but 15 touchdowns. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you're playing some kid from Purdue, yeah, you're gonna smoke him in the back of the end zone. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think I'm that's my irrational take of the day is that in the NBA.
You guys got anything else? All good? Larry, thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast. Make sure to check out Athletes vs. Crones on Instagram to learn more about Larry's foundation as well. Thank you again so much for joining us and your time again. Athletes vs. Crones on Instagram. Best way to check it out. Find a link to start helping out. Thank you so much for your time, Larry.
No doubt. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yes, sir, man. It was a pleasure.
Boom.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Rob Watson. Jack, we're excited for our newest parlay, but before we do,
dude, how about the weekend in week 0 in college
that's what I was gonna
football,
say.
Ryan? Because if you want to talk about guys, you always want to get off on the right foot. No matter what it is, if it's a sports season, if you're going back to school this week, whatever, you want to get out on the right foot in whatever you're doing in life. Rob, we talked about it's going back to like June probably on the show. We threw an Iowa State money line for Farmageddon, as they were calling it, with the O apostrophe over there in Dublin for Farmageddon. Rocco Beck and the fellas go out and get it done. Avery Johnson, a couple of turnovers. We've been talking about that since.
We won't act like we weren't doubting it.
Hey, I didn't doubt it. I didn't give up. And also, if you listen to the show Friday, what did we talk about for 10 minutes? The fact that Kansas was going to blow the doors off of Fresno State. Jalen Daniels, early Heisman candidate. Real quick, though, Rob. Out of what I saw out of those 3 Big 12 teams, I'm starting to like my Kansas to win the Big 12 narrative because I did not see one thing out of either of the teams in Dublin that led me to think that team's winning the Big 12.
What did you see out of Fresno State?
Nothing. I saw a lot out of Kansas, though, baby.
Rocco Beck looked good as hell. When he
did. When he has time and it's not rain.
2 big-time throws. By the way, if I heard the broadcast, if I had to hear the broadcast bring up one more time about them losing Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel at the draft, I was gonna put an
that happened a couple times.
Brutal.
But
one thing I'll say about
2 huge throws,
Iowa State,
and it was a gross monsoon. Iowa State, I thought all things considered, looked decent.
Did you see it in general? Like, I don't know if it's a rule of thumb for every week, but they're going away from maroon and gold as their school colors.
Why?
Like, they just don't wear it anymore. They have like an all white jersey and an all black jersey. I was like, that's what they wear most of the time.
Could I also throw out a shout out because after I lost because we made a parlay, Iowa State got us, but the rain absolutely sold us. We would have saw more points. Hawaii, shout out to you for holding down the money line. Shout out to Ben Scott Stevens, bro, for putting me onto that Sam Houston Western Kentucky over. That was an easy cash. And then shout out to Kansas. I had them as a 7-point favorite. Got it. 3-leg parlay. Shout out to all my boys. We're going to keep y'all with some good bets this college football season. Keep watching the boys for sure.
All right, before we dive into our FanDuel parlay of the day, I got to tell you guys about August 26th on this Tuesday.
Tomorrow?
As we're recording this, it is tomorrow, August 26th. Or today? It's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all of your football season predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race, crown your champion in August, or parlay your division winner dark horses. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Jack, what do you say we try to make some bread?
Guys, let's make some bread. We got a little house money to play with here, coming off a good week 0 weekend for the Big Factor. We got a big 4-leg baseball parlay going in today. Profit boost 25% on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. We're starting out hot. I placed the World Series bet ahead of Futures Day, actually, on the Boston Red Sox. We're coming in with their money line. They're playing the lowly Baltimore Orioles today. Atlanta Braves, Spencer Strider on the mound, been a little bit of a down year. Hey, no one's going to lie to you here. Miami Marlins actually playing decent baseball. We're going Braves run line plus 159. You gotta love when those pluses pop up in that parlay. The Brewers still one of the hottest teams in baseball. We're taking them against the Diamondbacks, coming at minus 160 on their money line. Guys, the St. Louis Cardinals, they struggled to hit. Johan Oviedo is one of the Pirates' best pitchers coming in behind Bubba Chandler and Paul Skeens. Oviedo started most of the year out. He's back, though. The Buccos are back. They're not going to the playoffs, Ryan, but hey, they might pull one out on a random Monday in August. We're going to bet on it. Plus 1804 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app with the 25% profit boost. Once again, Red Sox money line, Braves run line, Brewers money line, Buccos money line.
Alrighty, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in here to the Big Factor on the Big Play Sports Network presented by FanDuel. Shout out Fairway Ford. Shout out Garage Beer. Shout out the 2025 Great Jogga County Fair. We're out of time, but we'll be back tomorrow. Same people, same time. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you later.